Hello everyone. Today's video is going to be me refreshing all 4 of my Greenstalk towers. I have had the green, I'm not sure exactly what the name of those are, I'll have to look it up, but I've had the green 5 tiers for 2 years, and then the terracotta 7 tier, 7 tiers I've had for 1 year. And I haven't refreshed yet. I didn't refresh last year, but I feel like last year was a rough year. I didn't really grow anything in the green ones. It got very, very hot and very, very dry, and I didn't even bother to water them. So they're probably hydrophobic at this point. And then the other 2 towers, I had the orange terracotta towers, I had strawberries, filled with strawberries. And as you can see, not only do we have a horrible summer, which again, I didn't water, I think I've got 1 strawberry plant. Nope, 2. So, two strawberry plants that survived. And this was filled up. But, like I said, it was really, really hot. And then we also had a very, very cold spout in the winter too. But I honestly think they probably died with the heat and drought because I didn't water or anything. So we're going to be refreshing all of these today. I'm going to be adding some things in here that may help with not having to water as often. And I was just going to show you the process, get them all cleaned up and ready to go. I am again going to be planting strawberries in the 7 tiers, and then I am doing both of the green 5 tiers full of micro dwarf tomatoes this year. That is what I did the first year I got them, and micro dwarfs did excellent in them. All right, let's get going and I'll show you what I'm planning on doing. The grass needs mowed, something fierce. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump, I think what I'm going to start with the I think I'll start with the 5 tier first. So, I want to check the top, make sure you ain't got no nasty spiders. I've seen some horrific photos. But yeah, okay. So I'm gonna just take the tops off of all of them. And I think what we'll do is I'm going to start with this one first. So I'm going to take this and dump it in the wheelbarrow. I'm probably going to do 2 at a time. Into the wheelbarrow, I am going to add a bag of Fox Farm, some tomato fertilizer granules. So this is really big granules. I'm probably only going to add, I don't know, 3 handfuls each time I do this, because I'm doing, like I said, 2 tubs at a time. And then I'm going to also add a handful of this, it's garden tone for just vegetables, because it's a little bit more finer. And just 1 probably big handful of that. And then also I have these bags of water storing crystals, and I'm going to add a handful into, maybe 1 or 2 handfuls. It says for 5 gallons 2 tablespoons. So I think each one of these is 5 gallons, maybe a little more. I'm not quite sure how much these hold, but a couple handfuls should be enough. And then I'm going to mix that all together. And I forgot to say what was in it from before was just, I don't know, some generic, possibly Miracle Grow potting mix. So you don't want to use anything but potting mix in these because it's just too heavy. Just like you would for any other pots, use potting mix. So that's just what was in here. And so then I added the Fox Farm potting mix, which I really, really like. And like I said, the water crystals, the garden tone, and then I will put up a picture of what tomato fertilizer I'm using this year. It's the first time I'm using it, so we'll see how well it does. And then I'm just going to fill these back up to the very, very tippy top. And I will press down slightly to make sure there's not a whole lot of air pockets. And I'm also checking the drain holes here. This is what waters each tower, and making sure none of them are clogged. And when I say fill to the top, I mean to the top. It even says right under here on the thing, it says fill soil to top. I don't know if you can see that a little bit, but yeah. So I've slightly pressed it down. And some of this may get displaced when I go to plant my micros, which they're somewhere in this swath of tomatoes, I think. Oh, they're down here. So these are all the lovely, lovely micros, and I did actually start some more. So I will definitely have enough to put, and I just do one per cell. So one per here, all the way around, and I did that. I have a picture I can throw up of what my tomato plants. I have not tried to grow micros in the 7 tier. I really like the 7 tier for strawberries, so I don't think that I will ever do that. I'm going to try to keep the strawberries going in here more than 1 year, but that is what I'm doing. So I'm just going to, piece by piece, do that with the 2 Greenstalk towers. Okay, so I've got all 5 filled to the top. I've just done the one. I'll do the other one next. So I'm going to start reassembling. I'll put the first one on there, and then just like checking the holes for here aren't clogged, I'm also going to check the holes here to make sure none of those are clogged. And when you're putting it back together, see, like that hole there and that hole there is clogged. So I'm going to make sure I clean that out. And this hole here. And this hole here. So I'm going through and just making sure the holes aren't clogged. And then what you want to do is you want to make sure that each one of these holes lines up with each one of these things. So you don't want it here, because then you'll be watering right here. So you want to make sure it's right here. So it should sit right on top, just like so. And then the hole here for that one, hole here for that one, hole here for that one, and so on and so forth. So you want to make sure that your drainage holes are lined up with your pockets. And I'm just going to, tier by tier, put it back onto the stand. So this is a stand my husband built me, because I couldn't justify, after buying the tier, to get one of their, whatever it's called, the thing, the base, the spinning base. Because you, yeah, so he just added some wheels. I think I might have showed a video to it. Yeah, I think 2 years ago, of him, and he just used concrete screws and screwed some wheels, and it spins around, so I can spin it right here. And my towers seem to do pretty well in this area, because I have right here would be like a 3-story house, and it stays shaded for most of the day until probably about 2, and then the sun hits here till, I don't know, 7 or 8, 9, sometimes, you know, later on in the summer. But this is where I keep all my towers. And okay, it's assembled again, and just want to check the top here, the drainage holes, and the same thing applies. Make sure that your holes line up with each one of your, well, this has little hooks, so this has little slots that this fits into, so the holes should line up where they're supposed to go. And you just want to press that down in. I might have overfilled just a bit. Give me just a second. Okay, so I've got the 2 green towers refreshed, ready to go. I actually had a good bit of soil left over in the wheelbarrow, I still have some left over before I dumped my last pot. So I just went ahead and dumped it right in here because I'm actually going to amend the strawberry ones, the ones I'm going to do strawberries in, a little differently. So what I'm going to do, same thing. I think I'm going to take 3 of these, dump them in the wheelbarrow. I'm going to add berry tone to it instead of the tomato fertilizer. Water crystals, Fox Farm, mix that all together, and so on and so forth until I have both of these done. So I'm going to remove any weeds and such. Some of these have some roots. Some of these have some good roots. If there is any strawberry plants that survived, I will be pulling them out, and then I'll just add them back in once I've got it refreshed. But I think most of them are dead. All right, so they are all refreshed, and I will say that there were a couple of these, especially like the lower ones, like the very bottom one of this one, and the 3 lower ones of both of these, they were like very super dry, like hydrophobic type of dry. So mixing in the new Fox Farm soil or potting mix and the water crystals are going to help fix that. Yes, you can see I dumped one of them in here. They are extremely, extremely dry. Like this would not hold water. It's like powder. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to water them really, really well. And as you can see, I placed the strawberries that were in the top of this one here, put them back, and I'm going to go through my yard. I have several strawberries that started to grow wild right there, and then I have a bed that I'm going to no longer have as a strawberry bed, so I will just fill these up once they're nice and saturated with water, and then I'll put the strawberries in and water them again to make sure that the new strawberry plants have sunk into the soil, and then we'll be planting micro dwarfs next weekend or the following weekend in the 2 green ones. So they're ready to go. I have to say that was a pretty messy job to do, actually. It's hot today and I got filthy dirty, so I went inside and took a shower. But yeah, if you want to follow me in the process of filling these green stalks and watching how the micro dwarf tomatoes and the strawberry plants do over the course of this year, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Usually that kind of thing will go in a vlog. I'll probably do maybe like a micro dwarf tour once they get big enough and start to fruit a little bit. But yeah, hit that like button, and everybody enjoy your day.